I am Tina Repice, and I am a Diamond Coach with Beachbody. Today I'm going to tell you my story and a bit about me and why I decided to become a Beachbody Coach. So my story is an emotional one, so I will try to get through without crying. And then after I tell you my story, I'll talk a little bit about what it has done for me and how it's really helped impact my life so tremendously. So I'm going to basically fast forward to the point in my life when I was 24 years old. At this point, I was a full-time graduate student. I was getting my master's degree in occupational therapy. And I got a phone call one day from my dad, and he told me he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer is a terminal cancer. And when he was diagnosed, it was already basically stage 4. So when you are diagnosed, you were given 3 to 6 months to live. And my dad ended up getting 3 years out of it because he was that amazing kind of guy. That was a struggle for me, for sure. And on top of that, when I was a little girl, my mom had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And throughout growing up, it was always very interesting, to say the least. And she did have a few suicide attempts while I was growing up. But what really happened and culminated was when my dad got really sick. It really took a number on the whole family, and especially my mother. My dad went on hospice care, and he was at our house, and my mom just could not handle taking care of him mentally or emotionally or physically. And my wonderful aunt, she moved in with my parents and helped take care of my dad at home. And then at the very end, when he was very ill and we just knew that the time was very close, he transferred to an inpatient hospice facility, so he would get round-the-clock care over there. And I remember visiting him as often as I could. I felt so guilty. I was a full-time student and just wrapping everything up. And I was with him the day that he died, and we knew the time was coming because his breathing had changed, and it was just a waiting game with my dad because he was so young. My dad was only 55, and this was his second round of cancer, actually. So, it was just a waiting game. So I held his hand, and he had not opened his eyes in days. And all of a sudden, he just took the biggest, deepest breath out of nowhere. And his eyes flew open, and he looked right over at me. And as he did this, my sister ran out of the room to get my mom, who had been waiting in the lobby. And I just said, "Daddy, it's okay to go. It's okay." And so he went, and by the time my mother came back into the room, he'd already passed away. But one of the hardest memories I have from this time is watching my mother just have a breakdown. And she laid her head onto my dad's chest, and she just begged for him to come back and to not leave her. And she just listened to the last few beats of his heart. And it was the worst thing to watch. It was the saddest thing. And it was just so emotional, and just, obviously I just lost my dad, but watching my mother was so sad because my dad was my mom's best friend. And if you know about mental illness or know someone who has bipolar disorder, typically it's hard for them to make friends or keep friendships for lots of different reasons. And my mom didn't really have a lot of friends. My dad was her very best friend. So after he passed away, she really rapidly declined, and 5 months after my dad passed, she did kill herself. And to describe that time in words, I don't have the words to describe how awful of a time this was for me and my family, especially my sister. The two of us had a really, really tough time. And at that point, I also was in a wonderful relationship, and thank God for my husband at the time. He was my boyfriend. I don't know how I would have gotten through that without him by my side. And he proposed to me a few months later, and we had a lovely wedding. We kept it small because, to be honest with you, I was so depressed and sad and missed my parents so much that I could not mentally handle having a big wedding. We kept it down to 25 people, and I just couldn't handle the thought of not having my dad walk me down the aisle and not being able to have my mom there to help me pick out my wedding dress or all the fun things that your mother usually does with, you, or just not having my parents there was just too much for me to handle. So we did a small wedding. And I really hadn't taken care of myself at that time either. I just was not myself, just in a funk. But I will say that after we got married, that's actually when I discovered P90X. And my husband and I had always been active people, but when you're so depressed and have so much crap going on, you really don't care so much. At least I didn't. And so I had gained some weight and wasn't really eating healthy or taking care of myself. And I've always been a thinner person, so I don't really think anyone else really noticed too much about it, but I felt like pure crap on the inside. So Eric and I started doing P90X, and we started to feel so good. I started to feel amazing. And it was something that I could follow and I could actually stick with. And I didn't feel like I had to go to the gym every day, and I could just do everything at home. And I started to feel mentally better, and I just started taking care of myself. I started to eat healthier, and overall just started to look better on the outside too, because I was taking care of me. And then P90X led to Insanity, and then I did T25, and I've done Insanity Max 30, and I did 21 Day Fix, and now I'm doing 21 Day Fix Extreme, and it has just become a complete new lifestyle for me where I'm completely committed. And that has led me to discover coaching. And the most amazing thing about coaching is hearing how great my challenges are doing. I have helped friends and family members and strangers that have been referred to me. I have helped them lose inches and pounds and just need new wardrobes and basically just feel good again. And that's my purpose and my focus, is focusing on the inside and how you truly feel mentally and emotionally. And I think once you really take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. And then people notice, people will know, they'll say, hey, what are you doing? And that's what happened for me, because I just started to feel so much better and I started to look better. So that's really why I had gotten into coaching. I wanted other people to feel as good as I knew I could feel. I want them to feel what I had felt, if that makes sense. Basically, that is why I became a coach. That is my personal journey of some of the stuff I've been through. So I understand what it's like to go through some horrible, horrible times and not feel like you could ever come out of it, but you can. And it's just taking the step to take care of yourself. Along the way, we've had so many other ups and downs that I'm not even going to get into in this video. But coaching has also helped us pay off some serious debt that we've accrued over the years as well. And it's really just opened up a new type of lifestyle for us where we're just comfortable and we're happy, and it just keeps getting better. So if you would like to hear more about anything I've talked about today, whether it's my experiences, maybe you've had similar experiences, I'd love to talk with you about that. Also, if you want to try a new program, see what I'm talking about with the programs I mentioned, I'm happy to discuss those. And if you'd like to, really take a big step and join my team and coach, I can talk to you about that as well. Feel free to like and share my video, and you can also follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Tina Repice, Mind, Body, and Soul Wellness. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has helped you in some way, and for me it has been very therapeutic, so thank you for listening. Thank you. Bye-bye.